Dear students, today we can discuss about this video lecture is Cycloconverter. Myself, Professor R.B. Vagasia, working as an assistant professor in Dr. Subhas Technical Campus. Right? So in this video lectures, the basic outline of this video lecture, that is an introduction of the cycloconverter, types of the cycloconverter, principle of cycloconverter, single phase cycloconverter, and last one is the three phase cycloconverter, right? And then finally we can discuss about the advantage and disadvantage of the cycloconverters. So first one, what is a cycloconverter? A device which convert the input power at one frequency to the output power at the different frequency with one stage converter. That means that the cycloconverter is nothing but that can be convert the input power at one frequency to the output power at the different frequency. That means one frequency that can be converted into the different frequency of input and output power. Cycloconverter are used in higher power application driving a synchronous and inductance motors. They are usually phase control and they use the thyristor due to their easy of natural and phase communication. So that is the basic block diagram of the cycloconverter. So in case of the cycloconverter, we can applying the input power with the single frequency that can be represented as a Fi, and we are getting the output power with that frequency can be represented as a F0. So that single phase or a three phase as well as that can be converted into the three phase and single phase. That is the basic block diagram of the cycloconverter. So that students, dear my students, now is it clear that the basic function of the cycloconverter which converts the input power at single frequency to the output power at different frequency with single stage conversions. Now that is the basic classification of cycloconverters. Cycloconverter, that is our single phase to single phase conversion. Second classification of the cycloconverter is three phase to single phase converter, and third one is the three phase to three phase cycloconverter. Single phase to single phase cycloconverter that can be divided as either it is a mid-pod cycloconverter or a bridge converter, and three phase to single phase cycloconverter that can be classified that either single phase to 3 pulse output, or a second one is single phase to 6 pulse output, and three phase to three phase cycloconverter that is our 3 phase to 3 pulse output, otherwise 3 phase to 6 pulse outputs. Now single phase cycloconverter. So that is the basic circuit diagram of the single phase cycloconverter that can be divided by using a P converter as well as the N converter. So this is the cycloconverter consists of a back-to-back connection of two full wave bridge rectifier circuit is shown in the diagram, operate with the resistive load. So we can utilize the two full wave bridge rectifier, and we all know about that in case of the bridge wave rectifier we can utilize the 4 diode. So that is our first bridge wave rectifier, and that is our second bridge wave rectifier. So this is the waveform of the single wave cycloconverter. In first case, that is our input voltage waveform, that is our second positive half cycle, and that is our negative half cycle. In first case, that is our P converter bridge wave rectifier that can be goes into the turn on condition, and N converter bridge wave rectifier that can be goes into the turn off condition, while where the negative half cycle will become at the time that P type of the bridge rectifier that can be goes into the turn off condition, while N type of the bridge wave rectifier that can be goes into the turn off condition. Now three phase to single phase cycloconverter, right? So that in case of the three phase to single phase cycloconverter consists of a three phase half wave control rectifier connected shown in the figure, right? So here we have to utilize the three half wave control rectifier. So in case of the half wave rectifier, the output can be converted either it is a positive direction or a negative direction. So one converter is used for the positive group and the other for the negative groups. When that phi converter operating alone, the positive voltage appearing across the load, and while N converter the operating alone, the negative voltage appearing across the load. So in this circuit diagram, that load is connected between the two half wave rectifier, so that when P converter operating alone, at the time positive voltage can be across the load, and in case of the N converter operating alone, at the time that output voltage across the load is N, right? So this is the basic waveform of three phase single wave cycloconverters. So that is our input waveform with it considering the VAN, VBN and VCN. That is our fundamentals. VD we are counting that. So in this duration, that P converter is that can be goes into the turn on condition, while in the second phase, that means that output voltage can be goes into the negative up cycle, so that N converter that can be goes into the turn on condition, and total frequency F0 equal to, that is our 1 upon T0. So that alternate that output can be rotated. First case, the positive up cycle, that P converter can be goes into the turn on condition, and during this period that N converter that can be goes into the turn off condition. After reversing the cycles, that N converter that can be goes into the turn on condition, while P converter that can be goes into the turn off condition. So that here we have to see the two different figures. In figure A, the positive group convert the operating frequency and the negative group converter is ideal. In figure 2, the negative group converter is operating while positive group converter is ideal. In both the case, first case that positive group converter is operating, and second case negative group converter is operating. Now that one is the last and important three phase to three phase cycloconverter, right? So dear my students, that three phase to three phase cycloconverter can be designing by two different method, right? So in the first method, if the output of three phase to single phase cycloconverter of the same kind are connected, if and the output voltage are 2 by 3 radians, the phase shifted from each other, the resulting converter is a three phase to three phase cycloconverter. And the second method, and we can designing this given circuit diagram by using this second method. So that another type of the three phase to three phase cycloconverter is obtained by using a full wave bridge rectifier as shown in this figure. This type of the frequency changer is using 36 thyristor. So dear students, we can designing this three phase to three phase cycloconverter by using a 36 thyristor. The output frequency F0 is less than the input frequency F1, right? So that frequency of output for a three phase to three phase cycloconverter is F0 is always less than the input frequency F1s. Now the advantage of cycloconverter. The direct frequency conversion without any intermediate state. That is the major advantage of the cycloconverter. Direct frequency conversion from one form to the another form without any intermediate state. The second major advantage, power transfer in either directions, operating in any power factors. That is the biggest advantage of the cycloconverter, that can be operate with the any power factors, right? And they capable of regeneration over the complete speed range or down to standstill. The communication failure lead only blown off of individual fuse only. So that all are the major advantage of the cycloconverter. This is often preferable for very low speed application. So now the disadvantage of the cycloconverters. Some major disadvantage of the cycloconverter is large number of thyristors are required in cycloconverter. When we can designing 3-phase to 3-phase cycloconverter, at the time, dear students, we can utilize the 36 thyristor, so that circuit complexity can be increased. So complex control circuitry. And the last disadvantage of the cycloconverter, the power factor is low, particular at reduce the output voltage. Now this is the clear about that cycloconverter. Thank you.